Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to welcome our speakers and our listeners and future followers of the Facebook and Facebook Live. As I already have mentioned in previous lectures, throughout May 2020, Institute for Cultural Relations Policy is providing series of online video lectures where we're hosting experts of different fields who are providing overview of recent events. They're drawing attention on examples from different fields, from different regions. The reason why we decided to have the video lecture series are recent rapid social changes that are taking place globally, and those affect people's life due to COVID-19 pandemic. A few words also about our upcoming webinars. We will have 2 more webinars. Speakers will talk on global economic crisis and about the COVID international or post-COVID international order. Outline of this session is a little different from others. Today we will have 3 speakers. Each of them will have 20 minutes. After that, we will have a Q&A session, and speakers will be asked questions those participants send after the registration. The duration of the lecture today is approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes, including Q&A session. Today we are hosting speakers from Italy and Serbia. Today at our session about digital education after 2020, we are honored to host Milisav Milinkovic, Antonio Martis, and Dijana Puskar. I hope I pronounced everything correctly. We will start session with Milisav. He has 15 years of working experience in civil society and public sector, working with media, adults, youth, and other target groups in the fields of communication. And the topic is digital competences nowadays EU framework, and will present the app of a Novi Sad youth map created for foreigners. Please.
Thank you, Anna, for the introduction. I would just say thanks for all participants who are just taking the time to participate in this webinar. My topic will be concentrated on European framework and the digital competencies and what it means, especially nowadays that we are actually after post-COVID-19 period that we are facing. I'll just share the presentation. As Anna said, it's not necessary to explain. I'm working more than 15 years in different fields, almost as a community youth worker and a trainer on European level. A little bit about the digital competencies. I think that all of us are witnesses right now what's actually happening and how the all youth work, even the sessions, the training events are focuses on the internet and the online. That's in one hand, this is advantage because it's pushed us to a little bit, focus on preparation to see how to actually reach our target group and how to transform some previous and our routine methodologies and activities towards the new circumstances. Okay, how just to show it and a little bit see about some kind of the COVID period. This is something that we observe not just in Serbia but also in the whole Europe. Youngsters in generally, like any citizens, focuses on using their social media, using the internet, and they're also paid a lot of the online courses in order to use this time for getting some new skills that maybe will be important for them and necessary for the labor market and increase their different knowledge, informations, and the skills. Of course, that all of these things that we can see, that things that's happening on the internet, they are having their some advantages but also disadvantages. Still, even if we are speaking about online and learning, and there are still a lot of possibilities and a lot of things that can be organized for not just for the youth, for the students, for the citizens, in order to promote any kind of the project, any kind of the training, the settings, workshops, or anything that can have main the purpose for education of our target group has the limits, because sometimes we are missing like the real space in which we can feel how the, let's say, our beneficiaries, how our users, how our clients are actually like feeling and how they reacting and behave. But still, digital competences nowadays, we can see that without them, we can actually like survive in this, let's say, revolution of the youth work, the revolution of the education. Nowadays, we are actually like speaking about technology or as a fourth revolution. That is something connecting, of course, for the some theories and some researches that say that in the next 2 years until actually 2022 is expected that it could be changed over like 42% of the basic skills that are required on the right now and our existing actually like tasks. According to also like Organization for Economical and Cooperation and Development, their estimates and the research, they say that nearly a third of all jobs or worldwide are likely transformed by technology in the next decade. Also, if I quote World Economic Forum, that estimates that like 103 million jobs will be created in the major economics to meet the demands of the fourth industrial revolution. It means that something is changed, and it will be changing. It's not something that, let's say, it's a new. We already a couple of years ago, we are like realized how rapidly education and, let's say, the training and youth work also is changing, and how the youngsters and citizens are more, let's say, now on the social media, on the internet, using technology, and that they are increasing their competence. But also one of the just information that we can just say, even if we are speaking nowadays, that especially millennials and also like youngster generations used to using digital tools and using the like different digital technology in order to supply themselves with information, to develop some skills or to get some knowledge, to finish their student courses or finish the faculties. Still something we are speaking that we don't have enough digital skills in the generally in the Europe, if we are just try to link with the digital economy and society index from 2070. As you can see, that 169 million Europeans, or 44%, actually does not have digital skill developed skills that is actually like necessary nowadays for the also like new system of education and like new habits, even in the companies, even on the like of the jobs that we are having nowadays. We need to implement and apply some of them. Just I'll make a little bit a comparison about digital competencies that we already have, like a framework that the European Commission developed and still developing, but making comparison with digital learning. What it means digital learning and what is some aspects of that. We would just say that digital competence is essential for the learning, but also for the work and active participation in the society. Digital competence, that framework contributes to the European skills agenda. That means that these are really connecting with this kind of the agenda that is in the heart somehow of that agenda, and development of digital skills together with language skills and entrepreneurial skills actually are on the top, like a priority of the European skills agenda. That's something that we can nowadays actually afford ourselves without investment in developing these kind of skills. Digital learning is based on the application of the various digital technologies. Nowadays, we can just say actually that we are having digital age, which means different historical period in which there is a shift from traditional economy actually to economic development based on electronic information and data. It means it is a change, of course, the some ways how we are using, how we are applied and implement various digital technologies, not just in our work, but in the everyday, actually, our life and the routine. As you can see, we can just even nowadays speak about the new literacy, because digital literacy refers to a set of skills that are applied in the digital environment. It means for those people who are saying that they are digital literate, it means that they are already have developed a set of competencies as knowledge, skills, and information that they can apply in the different digital challenges and different digital environment. Of course, that information, media, communication, and others emphasizing digital literacy. European Commission also refer on the 8 key competencies, and this is the reference framework set of the 8 key competencies that also refer on the lifelong learning and permanent learning that is nowadays also important. And we're speaking in all of those 8 competencies, but of course one of them is a digital competence that's also part of the 8 key competencies that should be incorporated in any kind of the projects, any kind of the process that is connected with education and lifelong learning too. I will not explain about all of them. I think that is like obvious what means each of them, but we will just focusing right now more on the digital competence. And finally, DigComp, or Digital Competence Framework European Commission, offers a common reference for digital competencies in Europe. Of course, the goal is to help citizens and organizations wide Europe to identify the digital skills gap and the way to overcome the problem. Of course, that for the institutions and those who are involved in policy making, like different documents for the education, and those who are in charge for developing of digital competence, that's also important to see what kind of advices, measures, and steps are created in order to stimulate like youngsters, citizens, and to boost their digital competence. We have like 5 areas when we're speaking about digital competence or framework. That is, it consists of information and data literacy, communication and collaboration, digital content creation, safety, and problem solving. Each of these areas consists of the different or couple, let's say, sub areas that is also like important. Or let's say in total we have like 21 some areas or competencies that this digital competence framework by European Commission observe. And in order to just giving the framework that everyone can refer on all of these competencies, how to actually estimate in which state they are, what kind of our digital competencies are developed or not. Later, I will just provide also the links in which you can also testing your digital competencies nowadays, and of course you can just compare it with let's say other Europeans who actually fulfilled on the online that kind of a tool, and you can see what is the average digital competencies in the Europe or participants who already did it. That I think will be like a self-assessment online tool that can help you to realize where you are according to the digital competence. This is somehow like trying to going to deep in the actually like in the ocean or the sea to see what kind of the competencies we are having. And we have like on the left corner on the we have like a first and the second, third, and the fourth, like on the level that's belonging, like it's not advanced, it's not highly specialized, it's not like a highly developed different kind of tasks that can lead for the getting or developing, improving, enhancing our digital competence. And that's like a different task. For example, if you just observe right corner or right part of the picture, and if we are going in the level like a 7, highly specialized, we will see that resolving complex problems with limited solutions that we can integrate to contribute to the professional practice and to guide the others. how to resolve the complex problems with many interacting factors. It means how we can use our digital environment for the resolving different issues or the challenges that we are facing. That's how also like our digital competencies should be developed, or our skills will be connecting with our abilities to do some tasks, or maybe not, that we maybe should know on which we are focusing on the process of development. Of course, digital comp 2.0, there is also digital comp 2.1. There is just, some small differences, but this is the digital competence framework for the citizens. And you can see that the digital society needs digitally competent citizens nowadays. This is not just about due to the COVID situation that all the companies or institutions were at their homes and their need to focus on the internet, but this is also about the habits of our, let's say, the customers, clients, beneficiaries, who are spending more and more their times on internet. Being digitally competent means using digital technologies in a confident and safe way for various purposes such as working, getting job, learning, shopping online, obtaining health information, and being included and participating in society and entertainment as well. Because nowadays we are also forgetting this is also a part how we can just be digital competent in order to entertain ourselves and maybe, let's say, others. Now you can see in the left down corner digital skills in the Europe, what is belonging in the percentage of 40% of Europeans having sufficient or non-digital skills. That we are safe, that it was around 44 of some different research, and you can see 42 have no digital skills, and some of them are actually, 42 of them are unemployed. It means those who have non-digital skills. We can make comparison that those people who are digital literate and competent, that they are actually easily finding the jobs and easily operates on nowadays all the duties and activities that the new jobs bringing with some new challenges. This is some kind of the areas, as we already said, 5 areas and 21 actually a competence. Now we will just easily pass through that and information and data literacy. This is a right up corner, and you will see what belonging to that kind of pillar. It's evaluating data, information, digital content, how we are managing, how we are browsing, searching, filtering, selecting, how we can actually find it. Communication and collaboration, as you can see, that we can interact with others, digital technologies, that we can share it, that we can engage in, collaborating through digital technologies, that we can managing different digital identity. According to the digital content creation, this is something that we can say, of course, we are using social media. We can just create some, let's say, the posts, campaigns, whatever is there. But it's not just about that. It's how we are managing and developing digital content that's connecting with the visuals, that's connecting with the messages that we want to, key messages that we want to send to our audience. How we are dealing with copyright and license, how we are protecting, how we are integrating and elaborating different digital contents, etc. According to the safety, of course, this is one of the disadvantages nowadays, online learning and, let's say, the internet and education. As you can see, we need to know how to actually protect the devices from some jeopardizing, for the spamming, for the phishing, etc., etc. Any other tools that actually, let's say, can use in order to steal our data or somehow insult. Protection personal data and privacy, protecting health and well-being, that's important. And from that, more organizations in the Europe and also European Commission really pay attention on that and put in the efforts in order to protect on the European level, according to all these actual things, how to protect the environment. according to the problem solving, this is how we can actually implement our digital knowledge or our digital competences that we are having, how to resolve some technical problems that can appear, that you can identify needs and technological responses, how to creatively using digital technologies, and also how to identify digital competencies gaps among us, our target groups, and let's say our beneficiaries or the clients or the different target group, let's say like that. Shortly or summarize, society needs digitally competent citizens, as we already said. Being digitally competent means using digital technology in a confident and safe way for various purposes, such as working, getting a job, learning, shopping, being included, participating, and entertaining. For those who are interested in the digital skills online self-assessment tool that they can just check it, you need just like 10-15 minutes to focus on this. You can find digital skills accelerator.eu, a portal that is developed according in the framework of the project that is financed by the European Commission, and you can just actually like see what is your digital skills. Like are it of these 21, as we mentioned, competences, 5 areas, which of them like you are the most developed according to your skills, or on which maybe you are not, and you are should maybe to focus in the future, especially to link with your maybe the jobs or with your potential or the future jobs in order to invest in yourself to just getting the new some skills and to be more competitive on the labor market. I would just like to stop it here about just like shortly about digital competencies. It means nowadays very important. As you can see, faculties and universities and business sector, civil society sector, everyone is focusing and trying to actually put their like products, services on the internet. It means also like providing the courses to try to use their like studies in distance through the online and internet in order to provide more possibilities for those who are somehow limited, who are not maybe in some centers or in the cities in which, let's say, university cities or civil society organization companies has their headquarters. That means that somehow online learning and digitalizing actually improve process of globalization, that everything can be accessible nowadays. Of course, that we still should to think how to protect our data, how we can just use all of these possibilities on the right way with the great and good purposes for all our beneficiaries. Check it your digital skills self-assessment tool when you have like a time. If you will be like interested to explore a little bit more, as I said, it will be good because you at the end you get like a graph, like a diagram at the end. It will be colorful, and also you will compare it with the average European digital literate people. Another thing that I just want to like mention is somehow connecting with also like digitalizing and the digital competencies and online learning, or let's say informing, because my organization in which I'm involved in Novi Sad, in the north part of Serbia, so close to the Hungary, of course, we are have like managing a youth info center, info pods. That means trying to provide different information that concerning youngsters. They are needed. We are also like focusing a lot on the online contents, especially during the COVID period, but also before and also right now, because we realize that somehow the youngsters likes that kind of format. Easily they can select what they want or they don't want to participate. We are just like at the end of the last year, but somehow we are still actually like developing and improving a huge map Novi Sad that we are actually like created for the let's say, young foreigners who are coming in Novi Sad, like new tourists. That's like a free map that is a created touristic map that's created by the young locals. How do young people perceive what some tourists, youngsters, when they are coming to the Novi Sad, what they should to see, what kind of the categories they need to actually like visit. A little bit focusing on alternative contents and offer to you something that is not like typically easily find in the like touristically prospects. We have created like a really like physically printed map in English language that can be accessed to the, like youngsters and those who are interested in, but also we have created like a map. All those are like link that you can, if you are interested more, or if you are planning to come to Serbia to visit, maybe not now, but from the 1st of June, our borders will be, let's say, even right now it's open, but we are expecting that it will be more and more countries who can just, that we can also travel, but also that they can travel to Serbia. And this is like an online applications that help you to which kind of things and what kind of things you can do in Novi Sad. But also there is a link with our organization, InfoPolis, like Youth Info Center, in which all those who are using the application can easily check what is some news, what is some kind of like things that's right now happening in Novi Sad when we're speaking about like training, education, sport, entertainment, culture events, etc., etc. It means it's like a youth-friendly created application, easily can be used, everything is in English, and we are just recommending for those who are traveling can be used. Our purpose is to supply with the information and try to offer youngsters possibility to learn something about the culture, to check, and also that they can easily guide themselves through the city. That means different kind of the online contents we can just create in order to reach our target groups. It's important how we can just actually want to do it, on which way, with the main the purposes and with the some kind of the clear aims that we want to promote. That will be very shortly about digital competences, the framework. And about the application that it can be also connecting with all of these things that you are speaking, how nowadays our society are actually adapting, or maybe still not adapting, or we are still adapting to the new situations that like all world actually like faced. And what will be the future? It depends from a lot of different factors. And of course, that my colleagues who later will continue, they will just have like introduction of some also like interesting of the applications and portals and some courses that's developing, that's focusing on the online learning. And then we will just try to respond to some of your questions that you actually have. Thank you very much. If you have questions, we can use the chat, and later we will just moderate, and I'll be glad to try to respond onto your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Milisav. We will have and we'll be back to you with our questions. And I would like to introduce our second speaker. He is Antonio Martis, who is working in our partner organization in Italy, TDM 2000. He works as a project manager assistant and coordinator of international projects. He is also a freelancer, trainer in the youth field. Today, he will introduce platforms and tools used for digital education and presenting the app created in LOEL project about emotional intelligence. With more details, please, Antonio.
Thank you very much, Anna. Thanks to everybody to be here, and also thanks to Mili for the nice introduction, for introduce all these relevant topics, I believe, especially nowadays for this COVID-19. I will just introduce some data, and then I will go by checking different platforms we are using nowadays for digital youth work, and especially during trainings and during sessions we are doing with the young people. And then I'll be just passing by. I cannot show, unfortunately, all the platforms we are using because there are so many, so it's gonna take so long. So I will give you some example. Meanwhile, I would like to share with you some little stuff. As already mentioned by Anna, I'm going to present instruments for digital education, hints, tools, and anything that might be useful for you in case you are working or you are an educator and you are working with young people. Connected to, for example, what and Mili was already telling, there is also an interesting part related to DigiComp, which is DigiComp Edu, which is dedicated for example, for trainers and youth workers that would like to insert some digital tools inside their own work. I would like just to share some numbers, which I believe are quite relevant. Here are numbers that I took from Eurostat, and are sharing a bit more about internet and how much is affecting us in daily life. From you can see from 2008 to 2018, in 10 years, basically we reached a really high percentage of people that are having internet access both at home or by the phone. Then you might see all the households, and you might see also this part, which is quite interesting, which is basically 91% in cities and then 89% in towns. In Europe, there is internet. It means like many people can access. And the most interesting one is still related to the rural areas, which are covered to 85%. And this I will connect it later on why it's important, that part of rural area. And then we go also on another part, which is explaining you how many individuals nowadays they are working on internet on a daily basis. 76% from 2018 researches. Then why digital youth work? I've been working in digital youth work since the last years. Also already with Mili and some other colleagues, we've been developing different approaches using also digital youth work in face-to-face working with the young people. And but well, what is digital youth work? It's the same as youth work, but the just different thing is you're using digital tools to work with young people. The two main things are which are more important is it's innovative. Why? Because as I was showing it before, the numbers of people that are using internet, that are using social media, and as Milisav was already explaining, are a lot. And most of the young people are into social media and they're using phones. So it's a part which is, I believe, relevant, especially for us as youth workers, because we need to get always updated in order to keep on track with the young people. The second part, it's related to reaching more people. Why reaching more people? Through digital tools, there are like there is the possibility to run, for example, courses. Like for example, here we are using Zoom as a tool, but there are also other tools where you can organize a course and you can reach more people that are living, for example, in rural areas. They cannot maybe afford or reach you in the moment you are doing, for example, a face-to-face project. Or either you can organize also international stuff that I will also explain better later on. There is only one obstacle in digital youth work, and it's this one. It's a digital. Even if you can reach a lot of people, you have also to consider many things. Not all the young people you are working with, especially the disadvantaged categories, they do not have, for example, the last models of phones, or either, for example, they do not have a laptop, or possible they do not have access to internet. So this is also it's an obstacle that you have to face as a both youth worker and an educator. And that's why I always suggest once you are entering into digital youth work, or either you are planning any session or webinar, anything, it might be useful for young people, or as an educator, it's better to check in advance always the equipment that, for example, your participant do have, the young people, and either to provide them, for example, in advance, all the equipment which might be needed, and check also, of course, internet connection, which is also important. I will share like a bit of tools. Here I have some app. I'm going to talk about mural.co, mentimeter.com, kahoot.com, storyboard.com, and Jamboard from Google. And then finally, I will be introducing an app, a mobile app that we developed through a project we are partner with the TDM 2000. The project is called LOEL. It stands for League of Emotions Learners. And it's quite interesting because it's about emotional intelligence. And we develop an app which is a game for young people that I will show you later on. Then I will start to show you a bit of the different tools we can use. One of my favorites ones, it's this one, which is mural.co. Why it's cool? It's one of the most graphically talking, is one of the most fancy ones, as we can call it. And also it's providing you a lot of resources in different ways if you are having a virtual meeting. It was invented to help especially companies that are working with digital nomads, or in either like people that are living in different areas of the world, in order to connect and create the groups. The platform, it's open and available for both for Mac and for Windows. And what is providing you basically the platform is you can subscribe as, for example, a trainer, and then you decide and you have your own room. Of course, like here you have an example of room. For example, you can create your own. If I click on private room, then I put, for example, ICRP, private room, you create it, and then connect it, you see you have another room. Then what you do have, it's called mural. Why? Because you can share a mural together with the participants. As you might see here, you have a share, and if I go on create new mural, then you have different amounts of ready grids, graphics, anything that might help you in different things. So for example, here you have icebreakers. If you click here, you have different kind of examples of icebreakers you can use. For example, if you are starting your own meetings with the people, with the participants. Another one is about understanding, empathize, brainstorming. I use it a lot, for example, personally for brainstorming and for evaluation. So it's helping you, especially with, for example, there are already graphics of SWOT analysis or any kind of graphics. You can open different graphics, and then you can share them. For example, round robin, you open it, then once you have it, you can anyway, you can work on it, and then you can add different stuff. As you see on the left, you do have all the things you can add, all the instruments and tools. So for example, you have from icons to, of course, shapes. Then you do have tests. You can write, you can also draw. Then you can change, for example, marker, anything you might need, also eraser. Then you come back, and you can also cancel. And then you have other stuff. You can add files, for example, from your laptop or from Dropbox or OneDrive, or either you can add images, importing them both from your laptop or other platforms. And also you can add, the most important thing usually we use, it's a sticky note. I'm using them a lot, especially with the youngsters. They love them. And it's quite fast, because you click on a note, you replace it, and then you can write on it. So as you might see. How you do the sharing, you just click on share, and then you can, is that once you invite the person, you can straight or send it to the email, or either go straight with a link, and then you can, for example, copy paste in a WhatsApp group or any group that that is working with you. Pay attention on the what you are doing. So for example, here is important part, view only, can edit. This is always important, especially when you are working with many people, to understand when to put like options to edit or not. Or either you have an anonymous link where you have, like, for example, you can decide the permissions for the members and other people. This was Mural, and actually the good news is that COVID-19 as a pandemic, not only negative, but there is also something positive. Due to this pandemic, the platform is for free for 90 days. Before it was just a 30 days free trial. Then you have other premium accounts that you can buy according to different needs that you do have. Then we move, and I will use another simple and cool presentation tool that I use a lot, that we use a lot, which is mentimeter.com. Why it's cool, mentimeter.com? It allows you to work with the live polls. It's cool both at virtual level, but we are using it a lot also at face-to-face. So on the spot, when you are doing training on the spot, because people are seeing the results straight live, and you can, and it's also turning your interactive with the young people, especially nowadays. You know, if you start to talk much, or either like you as much as interactive, better to do not get bored. Here you can add different stuff. Also for Mentimeter, you have a free trial where you basically you can use just the limited options. And then, for example, this one that I'm showing you, as with my organization, we are paying an abonnement in order to use it in our trainings. The cost is not much. Actually, for example, Mural, the platform that I showed before, it was less. It was more. It cost much more. Instead, the Mentimeter, also considering the how much is useful, it doesn't have a high cost. When you are working on a Mentimeter, you can work here on the content. So, for example, you have options. You can create different questions. So, if you, for example, you put add a slide, you can have different stuff. So, multiple choice, word cloud, or either other things like ranking, scales, image choice, question and answer the sessions. So, for example, in case, for example, you would like to do a Q&A session, you can use it, and magically they will appear here. So, for example, I want to show you some example. So here are an example, since I'm working for the national agency, so with some other colleagues on arrival trainings and midterm evaluation of European Solidarity Corps program. We work for volunteers, and we developed, for example, this presentation. We have also developed the digital now for the emergency of the COVID-19. We developed the digital version of the on-arrival trainings and of midterm meetings, and we are using it a lot. So, for example, here we were asking them what task to manage a volunteer project. How would you divide the budget of 100 Fanta euros, in order to let them a bit more feel involved, and it's fun. Why? How does it work, Menti? As I told you, since it's a live poll, Mentimeter, you just have, once you go for presentation, it's gonna appear as a code like this one, and the people should enter in this website, so they do not need to download any kind of application. I will move faster to another one. I think everyone knows this app, this platform. It's Kahoot. I'm proud of it because it was invented by Italians like me, but it's quite cool because it's allowing you to, for example, do quizzes, games, anything that also still again might involve the participants. You have different versions, as you might see here. You have Pro and Premium, so you can get access to other other parts. And if you click, for example, on free, you can, of course, still organize some quizzes and make some others. So here you have already some quizzes, and you can access and develop your own quiz with pictures and everything. It's gonna be live because the young people, for example, you are working with, it's working similar to Mentimeter. It's showing kahoot.com or sorry, .it, and then they are basically entering through a code and participating to the quiz, giving also a name. You can do it both in teams or in by individual participant. Then I will move to another another part. If you give me 1 second, I will change another one, which is basically is this one. Okay. This one is storyboard that. I use it a lot for youngsters. They love it. Every one of us has been young people, and most probably in the past has been a fan of comics. And this tool is useful also for teachers and people that are working in school, because it allows you to have a plan, special plan for a teacher, where you can open a private room where your, for example, your students can work and make their own, for example, comics. It's cool because it's providing you a set of scenes, characters, and you can build up. You can give the power to a young person also without, for example, creative skills or either no skills of drawing, to create a comic. So, for example, you add here, you have all the colors, and here you have characters. You can choose the character and add them here. And here you can create different example of activities. So, for example, as we use it in the on-arrival trainings for European Solidarity Corps, for the volunteer to tell us, for example, the story of the volunteering, how they decide to volunteer through a comics. So and then they share it in a plenary. This could be an example also useful that you can use also with the participant at in your trainings. Another one that I will be sharing is a Jamboard. Most of you, most probably, they already know this tool. It's a tool that has been created by Google. If you go on your Gmail and if you check on the right side, you click where you have all the list of Drive, Translator, you will find Jamboard. Jamboard is a cool tool because it's a part of Google, and now with this pandemic, they turn it into free for everyone. Before it was just into G Suite. Now you don't have to pay anymore, and you can create a Jamboard. What is a Jamboard? It's basically a live blackboard where you can whiteboard, sorry, where you can work in different teams. So you can here you have now you read in Italian because I have it in Italian, but it's share condividi. And once you click on share, you can get the link, so copy the link, or either share it with people that already has Google, Gmail, email. Once you use it, you can add many things. So, for example, you can add here also sticky notes. So you see that they are appearing. You can make them bigger. You can duplicate them. Another thing that you can use for, rather than that, it's, for example, you can draw. So you can draw, then of course you can erase what you draw. And another important thing, you can add, for example, images, both from your Google Drive, or either you can go on Google Research and you can add GIFs, any kind of interesting thing you would like to use, using with the, working with the young people. We use it a lot nowadays, especially, for example, in some meetings we are running now, also at European level, with also some national agencies that are using it a lot. There is also another important stuff, which is this one, where it's disappearing, where it's when you are, for example, giving a presentation, it's showing you when you are speaking about something, you can emphasize what you are referring to. This is also Jamboard, and you can either share it, you can create more, as you can see, as much as you can create. There are more papers and that you can create. This is another one. Then I will just speak about another stuff, which is actually the LOL app. So the app that I was explaining you already before is an app where which was developed in this project. You might check in this URL, LOL project.eu. Here you have all in different languages. Of course, the languages that are partners with, that are provided by the partners. The partners are Media Creativa from Spain, then there is, which is actually the applicant and the coordinator of the project. Then there is Virtual Campus from Portugal, who is actually the partner that has the skills to develop the app, because they are specialists on developing apps also in Horizon training, in Horizon projects, for example. They have developed many. Then there is Point Europe from UK, and lastly, the University of Technology of Tallinn. This app has been developed. This project is based on the concepts developed by Daniel Goleman of emotional intelligence. Nowadays, I think most of many people is reading about emotional intelligence, because what we do, and when we started this project idea, basically is why, because we made a research and we check how much young people, for example, nowadays with the use of phones and internet, they have difficulties to face with the emotions. So we thought, okay, maybe we should adapt the emotions to the technology. And then we developed an app which is available both for Apple and for Android. And it's already in test phase. You can already go in the Apple Store or either Google Play Store, and you can download it for free. It's everything for free, since it's co-founded by the Erasmus Plus program. This one is a strategic partnership. And the app, what it has different games where you develop your own avatar. I'm gonna show you now how it looks like. Somehow is this one. As you can see, it's this is the avatar, and you develop your own avatar, and then you have a range of emotions. So here there are the 6 main emotions identified by Daniel Goleman in his studies about emotional intelligence. And in the app, you can develop your own avatar by playing games about emotions. So, for example, there are games about jargons, so with words or any kind of says, both in English or either in the language of the project, which are actually English, Portuguese, Estonian, and Italian and Spanish. Still, there is only in the test phase the English version of this app, and then at the end of June there's gonna be also the other languages versions. I will share also these particular infographic, so you can download it and try it. And really, it's important for us, for example, if you're educators, if you can use it and check how if it's cool or not, and then give us a feedback. It's really important, because it's gonna be then also for you. You can download it for free, and many young people can use it also. The last thing I will introduce instead, it's this part, which I think is quite interesting, from 2018. And it's Erasmus Plus Virtual Exchange. I don't know if you know it, but it's a platform that has been developed from 2018 with in cooperation among different stakeholders. together with the European Commission. And this platform is basically turning all the activities and the exchange in international level and debates in a platform that has been created since 2018. As you might see, this is the platform how it's looking. You're looking like a round. This is a kind of typical round that we do have, for example, in non-formal education, the semicircle. There is a moderator. So the cool stuff of this virtual exchange platform is that you have a moderator, which is quite different, for example, when you are running other kind of debates, or nowadays, for example, in social media where you don't have any moderator. And I believe it's quite important. And the cool stuff of this platform is you have opportunities both for, as you can see here, young person, educators, and either a youth worker. If you're an educator, so for example, involved in the university, you can go and check the platform, and then you can check all the opportunities. There are different opportunities. There are trainings. There are trainings for facilitators in order to understand how the platform is working. And also there is the possibility to make projects and actually implement them in the platform. The last part is also for, I will show you, it's for youth workers. And the platform for youth workers is available both to have training as a youth worker in order to understand how does it work, the platform. And actually me personally, for example, I will start a training about it now in June. And the other possibility is once you understand how does it work the platform, you can access to the platform and ask and apply to, for example, a project idea where you involve people between 18 and 30 years old, where you can run debates, anything that might be useful and in priority with the European Commission projects. I think I almost cover everything. I'm sorry if I have been a bit long. There are a lot of tools that now I didn't even mention, and I will be also sharing for you that I'm using a lot daily at daily level. But it's I believe it's quite important to understand that all these tools are useful in order also to use not only at digital level, so at a level that, for example, here on Zoom, but also at face-to-face, so on the spot. On a training on the spot, as much as you mix the two things, I believe that this is the key of the future of education, especially in youth work, and also I believe in a school, university, since we are all using and surrounded by digital tools, it's important to include them in our daily work with youngsters and as educators. Thank you very much, and I'll be waiting for questions.
Thank you, Antonio. We're running out of time a little bit. We will have our last speaker, Dijana Puskar. She is a project coordinator, youth worker, and trainer in non-formal education with over 20 years of experience in working with youth, public institutions, and business sector in Serbia. And she will talk, she will present the YOLO project. Dijana.
Hello to everybody. First, I'm really sorry because you cannot see me, but this is the problem with some online courses and digital devices. I don't know really what is the problem. I will present you shortly because my colleagues, they cover a lot of things. I will present you 1 hour projects, youth online learning opportunity. Now everybody is speaking about online learning, about digital education and these things, but more than 2 years ago, it was not a lot of the projects, and people don't speak like now about online learning and digital educations. In January 2018, we come up with the idea to create one project about online learning and to build the capacity of organization to use different online tools. In formal education, yes, online learning exists a long time ago, but in non-formal education, it was not really much popular. and people mostly prefer to face-to-face courses and other things. I remember when we did at the beginning of the project some small research if non-governmental organization and youth workers in general, if we use online tools in our work or not. There was just not too much organization who really use online education. But if you compare with the now, I really want to see results now, and I want also to, and I will to propose to our the partners to do also some research to compare results before 2 years and 1.5 and now. As I say, our main goals was to build the capacity of the partner organization, how to use different online tools in our daily work. Also, one of our objectives was to explore existing tools and to think how to improve these existing tools, what we can change and make better. Now everybody uses Zoom. Zoom is very, very popular, but 1 year ago, when we tried to check different tools and Zoom, Skype, Hangouts, also Adobe, what is the best to organize webinars? Because one of the activity was also to organize local webinars for young people. It was really, really a lot of negative things for all of them. And for Skype example, it was very hard to organize video meeting with more than 5 or 6 people. Also, there was a lot of negative things in the Zoom. But in the last several months, when start all these crazy things with Corona, things is changing crazy fast, and I think that everything which we find that it doesn't work proper, now somebody is changed and now it's working. Our project, it's almost 2 years project with different activities. One of the first activity was in general about online education, about positive and negative aspects about online education. There was a lot of local activities, local webinars which each country organized about also positive and negative aspects of online learning in non-formal education. There was local workshops where we present to young people different online tools which they can use, not just young people, also to other organizations, which they can use in their daily work. Then also, what is really important, I hope I will be able to share a screen with you. This is not. We create also one online platform because in this period, in a lot of online learning platform, if you want to follow some courses, you need to pay to follow some courses. We decide to create some basic platform for online learning, which will be totally for free for everybody. Okay, it's in this moment, it's really basic. Just a second. Can you see something or?
No, we cannot see it. Okay.
Okay, this is a project website. It's YOLO.org. And here you can see about general about the projects, about our international activity, about local activity in each partner countries. There is activity which we did in a local level, and Also, there is this basic platform which we create, and also here you can find in this moment just one online course because platform is still in the process, because I think that all of you know that it's not easy to create one online platform from the beginning. I hope till the end of the year, not I hope, for sure, there will be more different courses. Also, we create in our last activity several days before this pandemic period, we create different courses in the Moodle. And it's really, I think, important also to say that young people who participate and who follow this project from beginning till almost the end, they was able to create really good courses, and they learn how to use the Moodle and how to put things in the Moodle platform. But we plan also more in this project. It's to organize, we postpone, it's to organize one international conference about online learning and online education in a non-formal sector. I don't want to repeat what my colleagues say, because, for example, Antonio, he present a lot of different tools, and a lot of these tools we use in these projects, and we also think for a lot of them how we can improve. Digital education, it's very important, but also digital education without face-to-face, it's almost impossible. I want to say also this, because it's not the same to sit at your home and to do something and to be with the people on the same place and to do activity. I don't know how we stay with the time. I don't want to repeat some things. If you want to know more about projects one more time, you can visit a website and find a lot of information here.
Diana, you also can link in the chat, so
yes,
maybe our viewers can visit the website and see more details. And if you're finished, we can move to another session of the Q&A.
It's okay.
Okay, so thank you everyone once again for very valuable information. We have a few questions. I think each of you who would like to answer can just unmute herself and answer the question. So first question is, what do you think about the efficiency of the distance education in elementary and secondary school? So you can unmute yourself and answer the question.
Okay, maybe I can add some stuff.
Sure.
Well, in elementary and like primary school, there are some examples. Like, for example, I have real example from a friend. She's a teacher in elementary school, and they are using the not actually Zoom, but they are using in this moment Google Meet. Activities they are followed by the parents, and they are doing just short, really short connections with the youngsters. They are teaching them how to behave, for example, so how to unmute, mute, how to behave in a normal not face to face, but digital video conference. And they are short. This is really important, especially because they are quite young, and they are in an age where like they do not understand many things. So these tools are powerful, but then like they can be so much powerful that you don't know how to use them. So they are doing just short sessions, and then they provide mostly tasks that they need to do at home. But I do believe that cannot cover the face-to-face, as Diana already said. I mean, like, it's really important, especially for if I age of elementary school. I think it's quite relevant also the moment of leaving, speaking with the mates, with the schoolmates, growing together and create the group. I think it's really, really relevant for them.
Thank you very much. Anyone else that wants to comment this question, answer this question?
I would like to just add. Yeah, I think that this situation somehow a little bit forced, or let's say to motivate, not just professor, but the general educational system to adapt to the new circumstances. I think that efficient of the distance and online learning, even in the elementary school, can be, because we are right now witnesses at a lot of the schools, not just like in the particular in the Serbia, but also in some other countries in the whole Europe, actually, who are already incorporated their online courses, and those who are not, they are actually started right now. Like in Serbia, we had situation for the 3 days, let's say 1 week, that all the system of education is transformed into online. And on the beginning, of course, it was resistance. You know, professors were in the new situations that everything should be prepared online, delivered. What about those kids who are like socially excluded somehow, or doesn't have like opportunity to just using all of these kind of let's say new technology and devices, but somehow there are schools provided and trying actually to use. Generally speaking, I think that is of course, it's a time that it should to be like planned and curriculum developed, that it should be like a mixed, but still believing and witnesses that education on the distance or online can be efficient even in the elementary or the high schools. It's just like need time, it's taking routine, it's taking preparation, and of course investment in the professors, in the teachers, those who are presenting, and how to use all of this, the new let's say the online, the tools in order to make interaction. Of course, that should be mixed. If you ask me, I think that it sometimes should be also face to face. It's good, but online really can be efficient and useful. Do it to the cost efficiency also, and saving sometimes the resources.
Thank you, Milisav. If Diana would not like to comment, I will move to other question. I just cannot see Diana, so I cannot understand if she wants to comment or not.
No, I agree with Antonio and Milisav, and I am for option to combine face-to-face and online.
Thank you very much. And our third question is it possible that information and learning materials will be more easily accessed on the internet in the future?
For sure. Because and now if we want to find something, it's not hard like before to find information, not just information, a lot of education things we can find on the internet, and after this period when we face with all these problems, and when we was in situation to adapt everything for 7 days, for sure in the future people will think what can happen, and it will be more easy than now to find different education materials, and access to all of this will be more easy than now, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm finished. You cannot see me. Sorry.
Okay, I would just add. I agree that definitely when we're speaking about quantity, that informations will be online. of course, we shouldn't forget about the quality of the information that will be spread and created, especially nowadays during the COVID-19 period also, and right now still we were like sometimes confused due to the different approaches in presenting the news, even by the public institutions, even by the journalists. It means spinning and sometimes manipulations of the fake news and manipulations of the news is something that we should have in our mind. That's how digital competencies also should learn how to critically analyze and check information and check the sources in order that we can really select those information that can be valuable for us and useful. It means, yeah, quantity it will be. We should to educate ourselves and let's say the new generations how to select information, how to protect all the data in order to supply themselves with those information that they are needed.
Thank you. Okay, I don't see Antonio, so it means we can move to our last question, which is what part of online education can be used in the future, and what is not replaceable?
Well, what is not replaceable? Actually, there are many things. As I was explaining before, I do believe that to have the face-to-face approach, it allows you to do many things in a faster way, for example, in a quicker way. So the involvement of the digital tools, it's also bringing some difficulties. So for example, when you are working in remote, for sure you need more time to explain some task, or either with a person that is just starting digital tools, they need a basic explanation about anything. So I believe that the face-to-face part still, like, of course, it's easier and faster, and it can work slowly. As already mentioned by Milisav, I do believe that education on digital, the digital education in general, will allow us to be, of course, to have, for example, this kind of webinars in a faster way, no understanding, no need of test, because of course most of the people are comfortable using these kind of tools. But nowadays, I would say that everything, not everything, but most of the things are online. But I do believe still about the mix, like keeping still digital and face-to-face on the spot. It's still needed for now, because it takes time by governments, it needs a lot of investments, I do believe.
What I just want to add, that for me personally, this online looks more formally than non-formal. Face-to-face, if you're doing a non-formal education, it's easy to do face-to-face than online. It's my personal opinion, because if you have one person who is a speaker and other who is okay also in face-to-face, sometimes one person speak, but it's more easy to discuss face-to-face than online. And I think in this online education, somehow we little use this some non-formal format.
Thank you very much, Dijana, and thank you very much, everyone, for sharing your thoughts, your presentations, and your time, to dedicate your time, because we're living at a period of time where we're where many of the tools that you shared with us is very new for us and for everyone that's using the digital education and is being in a digital education. Thank you once again for your time, and I want to thank also our viewers. I want to wish you have a very productive and nice weekend. And I want to remind our viewers that our next session is going to be next Wednesday on global economic crisis. Thank you very much once again.